Hello, everyone. We're back again. So, have you ever wondered how to minimize your expenses or your fees on a hard money loan? We'll let you know right after this. My first answer is always own your own hard money company. That's how you minimize your fees.
Well, what's the question? What's the true question?
Well, we're not going to ask that question right now because we have other things to talk about first.
What are we going to talk about, Bill?
Well, I guess we'll talk
Like we
about
should have a puppet show.
breaking news.
Big stuff.
That would be.
No,
All right.
it's broke.
Typically, we go into who we are and what we do and thanks and all that stuff. And I went right through that. I went
Yeah.
right to the
Well,
breaking
you
news.
can do it now.
So
You were so
Yeah.
excited about the news. I like that.
there's a lot of news to talk about.
Yeah. But
So we are Carolina Capital Management, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. We make loans in the Southeast to real estate investors. If you're a borrower interested in borrowing money, go to our website, carolinahardmoney.com, and click on the Apply Now tab. If you're an investor looking for, what do we call that? Passive returns.
yeah.
Then click on the Accredited Investor tab. This is the Passive Wealth Show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Sorry, Sharub. Every time I mention something, she throws the graphics up, and I fool her and say something else. It's not your fault, sweetie. It's me. It's not you. It's me.
It is him.
But she's telling you to make sure that you
Ask the question.
Yeah, and this is and this is a the question part, but we're not asking the question right now or answering it.
But you can
But-
ask questions
Oh, yeah.
in the
All right,
chat
stop
box.
it. I got it. Yeah, we do have a comment section on the right side of your screen or underneath, depending on what platform you're with. And, oh, by the way, we'd love to have your questions. We may or may not answer them. There's a link. Wendy and I are going to be speaking at the Quest Con event
In April, right?
in April. It's the 17th and 18th. And there's a code here. You get if you use the code, then
The code.
you get half off the ticket price.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we can talk about the news. So on
And
Wednesday,
it's based on that. By the way, QuestCon is based on lending. They're taught the whole thing is talking about lending. So
Yep. Lending from your self-directed IRA.
yeah.
so in previous events, they've had kind of an array of topics, and they've decided to focus in on different aspects of
Mhm.
real estate going forward with
Mhm.
these. And this one just happens to be lending.
Yeah.
Everything having to do with lending, borrowing, being a lender. I'm sure notes will be involved in there.
That's right. And borrowing money should not be a problem for anybody. We were just talking about that this morning. How
She called me a liberal, by the
I
way.
did. I just said a liberal lender.
A liberal lender. Come see me. Don't see Wendy.
Because I'm really conservative, but it's very it's amazing how much money is out there and how cheap it is, right?
Oh, it is. It is.
Well,
amazing.
it's part of the breaking news. It's getting a little more expensive.
Oh,
Yeah.
the breakaway.
So Wednesday they did housing starts for February, and they were well below what was expected for housing starts. However, some of that can
It's because nobody can afford the wood.
some of
It's
that
crazy.
some of that is part of the weather. We had the big ice box going on
Yeah,
Sure,
in
that's true.
February, so there wasn't a lot of housing starts.
During that week.
However, building permits were also down. That I think has a lot more to do with the cost of building
Mm-hmm.
than anything else, because the cost of land is higher, the cost of
Yeah,
materials
everything's
is higher.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I don't think the cost of labor is going to be going up dramatically in that particular sector, because if they're not building and they haven't started houses, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be temporarily laid off.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not going to be as much competition for labor.
God, I hope so. I hope you're
Because
right.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Finding good help is
That
really
said,
crazy.
let's go into
I've got 3 projects I ain't finished.
Yeah.
Send them my way. Yeah.
the unemployment numbers. Last week's initial claims and continuing claims were all revised upward. So they're actually higher than they reported last week. And guess what? They're off again higher this week as well.
Mhm.
Now, again, I think a lot of that had to do with people finally working through the system from the bad weather. And
Mhm.
in February, we'll see. There's some states that are starting to open up a little bit more. So you would think that people were being hired back. But one of the things that we found,
Well, would the
Or-
new stimulus bill have anything to do with higher?
That's a good question.
I don't know. Just a question of what you think about that.
well, there's supposed to be new, that PPE money.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And there's
there,
earmarked money for unemployment, right?
Yeah.
Or there's more money going towards that. I
Mhm.
was just curious what you thought.
well, I don't know. It'll all shake out, and I have no idea.
Mhm.
My thought is that one of the issues with employment is that we've learned how to do more with less.
Yeah.
I'm sure every business out there has learned how
Yeah.
to do more with less. At the same time, there's businesses that are trying to operate on 25 to 50% of their normal operating capacity.
Mhm.
But
Because
not
they've
with
been
their
locked
normal
down.
expenses, right? They had
Right.
to cut down. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
but they still have the same rent in most cases. And
Yeah, rent wouldn't really change
you still have-
unless you did send everyone home and you.
yeah, if you're a
Broke your
restaurant,
lease.
From home. That's
Yeah.
right.
if you're a restaurant owner, you still have to have a full staff in the kitchen,
Yep.
even if you're only serving 25 to 50% of the people.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
true.
your expenses aren't going down. So what I'm thinking is that some of these businesses finally said, I've had enough. They've either closed some of them permanently or I don't know. They're just waiting for another time.
Well,
It's
you
hard
know,
to say.
They
It'll all
had
work
a
out.
thing on the radio talking on the talk radio station, and they were talking about North Carolina. And North Carolina had 127 new businesses start in this past year in 2020.
127.
127,000.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I should add that to it. 127,000, and that was like record breaking, like almost double what had happened previously.
What do they say?
They didn't give any details as to what it was.
Is that like new LLC formations, or
That's-
is that business licenses being purchased through municipalities?
That's a good question, and I would imagine if they're going through the state, if it's coming out about the state, that they would have had to gone through new LLCs or entities being formed. So it's not a great measurement in my opinion. However,
I form LLCs all the time and never use them.
that's right. However, I mean, that also says there's a lot of people that have been laid off that are saying, "Hey, I'm going to start my own business."
Yeah,
and,
that's
and
true.
they're all small,
Mm-hmm.
work from home type businesses. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's more people out there that are doing contract employee kind of businesses out there. I don't know. Just thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is. Brian Maddox put up a good point
Okay, boy, that's a talky one.
talking about they're only going to.
FHA is only going to purchase 7% of sold mortgages from any company that are second homes or investment properties. So, and this is really,
It's already having a major impact on those that are willing to finance these. So recheck with your bank on your exit strategy for your hard money loans. Great advice, Brian.
Yes,
Thank you very
thank you.
much.
I can tell you this, there are plenty of non-traditional lenders that will still take those, not necessarily second homes, but investment property.
Yeah, that's probably what's becoming more and more popular. And I call them quasi hard money companies because they claim to be hard money, but they're not FHA backed.
No,
buyers.
it's all private security.
Yeah, it's really good. So I think
they're
people are-
lending in the low fours.
I mean, most definitely. But Brian is an awesome mortgage broker with AmeriFirst. He's one of their top dudes over there, and Brian Maddox does a great job.
Yeah, we've had him on the show a couple of times.
Yeah.
So here's the problem with exactly what you said, is that you've got companies that have already made loans
Mm-hmm.
and they're expected to sell them.
Yep.
And now they're stuck with these because they're not going to be able to sell
That's
them
right.
to FHA. So what does that mean? They're going to have to sell them at a discount because you're going to have all these people that are scrambling to get rid of these loans they weren't prepared to hold on
Which
to.
means the rates will go up and they'll start doing fewer loans.
Well, yeah, but that's going to it is going to lower cash flow on most of these rental properties because you're not going to be able to get that good conventional financing. What really irritates me about this is that they're not buying these because they think they're riskier loans, in my opinion.
Uh-huh. So why aren't
And
they buying
they
them?
typically have a lower default rate than FHA first time home buyers, and they're pushing those hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you think it is?
Well, because they don't understand
They
real
don't
estate
like us.
investing.
They don't like us. They're not our friends anymore.
They don't understand real estate investing.
Yeah.
That's true.
Also, rates are starting to go up. I don't see that affecting too many owner occupied purchase money loans because obviously rates are really low.
Right.
And what it's going to do, it's going to perpetuate this with the housing starts
Mm-hmm.
and the building permits being lower and rates starting to go up. It's all this is going to do is perpetuate the increase in price, in my opinion, of single family housing because you're not building as many.
Sure. It keeps the inventory low. Yeah.
Rates are still relatively low. They're still going to be affordable, but people are going to. They want homes. The supply is going down. I feel sorry for a lot of the mortgage originators who didn't pay any attention to their real estate um, resources and only concentrated on refinances.
Yeah.
Because
They'll
they're going to
get
be
stuck.
struggling to get more loans.
I'd be interested in hearing from Brian what his rates are running right now. So Brian, if you get an opportunity to type that in there, that'd be awesome.
The other thing we're probably going to see is that those loan originators are going to start getting relationships with some of the non-qualified mortgage companies that are doing these rental property loans that that are the quasi hard money people.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're still going to need a place to put them.
That's absolutely true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see. We're still going to have refinances, folks, but people are going to use the refinance as the piggy bank versus lowering the rates.
Right.
Because as values continue to go up, it's a great way to pull out equity and still be relatively cheap. All right, so we only have 15 minutes left or less than that to answer our question. So I dragged this out as far as I could. So it is time now for the ugly question.
Sounds so ominous.
And that would be today's ugly question, by the way, not tomorrow's.
Today's
or next week's.
It's every day's ugly question.
Yeah. Do you know what it is?
So it is our question.
There we go.
What is the optimum way to borrow hard money and not incur fees? Well, you already heard my first answer.
And not incur
extra fees.
I was going to say any fees, just don't get hard money.
Yeah.
You're still going to incur fees.
Well, yeah,
no
just not from hard money.
That's right. So let's let the liberal underwriters answer this one.
I mean, step one would be make sure your project finishes on time. Fees are incurred when you go past your maturity date. Most hard money lenders charge an extension fee. Some don't, and some just charge you default interest past the maturity date.
That's right.
So, either way, you're going to be paying more. So finishing your project on time is huge. And how do you finish your project on time? Hire someone who can do that.
Right.
Don't do it yourself.
That's a big plus.
Yeah.
That's a big plus. I like to start at the beginning. When you come to any hard money lender for a loan, understand what your numbers are, know what they are, investigate them, know what your after repaired value is going to be. Everything we do is based off of that. And if your after repaired value comes in lower and you can't afford to do the deal, you've just spent money on an appraisal, that's not doing you any good, right?
Yeah. You just, I mean, appraisals run $400 to $800.
That's right.
Mhm.
And make sure that you really understand the rehab amount. Don't put, if your cousin's giving you a good deal, he's the one that's going to do the contracting for you. He's going to give you a good deal. Don't put your cousin's good deal on the rehab list. Put real numbers in there because your cousin might get hit by a truck.
Yeah.
Or decide he has a bigger name on the other line that
Yeah.
he can do the work
And
for.
by the way, your lender isn't going to include your cousin's numbers, because if the lender has to take it back, your cousin's not
They're
doing
going
the
to
work.
finish the house for sure. But you want to, you just want to make sure you include those numbers thoroughly, because there's nothing worse than fixing a house up and finding out that you don't have really enough money in your budget.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
not
you're not
having
going to
a,
get another loan.
yeah, not having a contingency in
That's
your
right.
in your budget is, I mean, just to be, I guess, really upfront, it's a stupid tax when you get, because you're going to get hit for things behind a wall that you didn't know were there.
That's right.
And if you don't have that money set aside, I mean, you can see it. I'd count it as an extra fee. It's a tax for not being prudent about your budget.
Right,
So-
that's exactly right. It's
Yeah.
a stupid tax. That
So-
might be a good way to
So
look at
I
it.
mean, when I look at a budget, I'm like, where's the contingency? Oh, I don't need one because I'm doing the work or whatever it is. It's like, I don't care if you're doing the work or if someone else is. You always need a contingency, and typically, just 3 to 5% of the budget is really what you need, because something's going to pop up.
And that's right. Every time something absolutely will pop up. And make sure too that whoever you're working with isn't asking for due diligence money up front, an application fee up front, any money that transfers hands other than the appraisal. I understand charging for the appraisal up front. We do.
Yeah. But that doesn't even come to us. That goes to the
appraisal,
Yeah.
to the appraiser themselves. But if somebody's charging you a fee to look at your deal, basically is what they're doing, then they don't really have any intention of closing your loan.
I've seen it done quite a few ways, but they'll collect a $10,000 or $5,000 or $1,000 due diligence fee or whatever up front. And they'll say, well, don't worry, because whatever we don't spend, we'll count it towards your closing. And that's great if in their LOI or whatever document,
letter of intent.
Yeah, letter of intent that they give you, it doesn't state that fee is fully earned once you pay it. Because if it does state that it's fully earned once you pay it, you can never get it back.
That's right. That's right.
I was going to mention one other way to make sure is to finish early. And so how do you do that? I know inventory is tight as it is, but if you can find properties that need very little work, that's the route to go. Don't try and do a complete overhaul, almost a new construction, because those are going to take the longest. Try to find some that need very little fixing up. And it could be even a place where you're going to almost like a retail deal. You're just cleaning it out, painting it, selling it pretty much as is.
Yeah, you don't have to fix them up like we once did.
Listen, there's bidding wars everywhere. I was in the grocery store the other day, and I heard these two guys talking, and one said, "Hey, I see you sold your house." "Yes, I did." "Where are you going to?" "I don't know. Every time I try and make an offer on a house, there's already 3 in front of me, and they are bidding well over the asking price."
Yeah, yeah, we like that.
So-
Brian answered.
Yes, he did.
Primary homes are up to 3.375. Ooh.
To the threes.
They were in the 2s.
Investment properties at 4.75 today with 1 point. Investment homes will vary greatly between the lenders now. Yeah, you're right about that. And thank you for updating us on that. And I mean, I know I made fun of the 3.375, but it was in the 2s.
It was in the 2s.
It was free money.
And 4.75 and 1 point on investment property.
Still doesn't suck.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, relatively speaking, 10 years from now, when inflation is way up, that the payment on that is going to be.
When did you say 10 years from now?
Yeah, 10 years from now,
About
when
10
you're still
months from now.
when you're still making those 30-year mortgage payments, you're going to be happy at 4.75
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
It's a great hedge against inflation is a low fixed rate mortgage. And it's nuts that they're not going to follow through unless they've decided that these smaller individual investment property loans are all going to get killed because they're going to make it harder and harder for the landlords to collect
Collect
their
the
rent.
rents.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That might be why they're not buying investor loans.
Yeah.
That might be what
So, you know,
tripped that trigger.
and it can be, I mean, I don't know what it's up to now, but I mean, I just imagine it's probably close to $2 billion for in New York, the back owed rents.
Yeah, I'd
I
be interested in seeing how many non-owner occupied loans are late at this point. Mortgages are late.
It'd be interesting. We can find that data.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can
we'll
get
do that for next week.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
sure. I'd like to know what that is. That's very interesting.
And by the way, message Brian if you are interested in getting a loan. Brian does a great job.
Brian Maddox
Yep.
at AmeriFirst. And Brian, you're more than welcome to put your information in the chat box. We'd love to have it up there.
Because we got like 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes for it to be there. But it will be there permanently.
That's right.
That's the good
Living
news.
forever.
Living forever in cyberspace.
Folks, thanks for joining us. I don't see that we have any other questions about our ugly question, but I hope that helped. Really, to sum it up, it's get it done quickly. Look for properties you don't have to do a whole lot of work on, or at least get it done by your maturity date, because you're going to incur even higher fees when you go past that. The other thing too is most companies that you do business with on a regular basis are going to charge you a little bit less than if you're the first time borrower with every
Yeah.
single company.
Yeah.
And my point is, it doesn't have to be with us, but try to be
We'd like for it to be.
loyal to your lenders as long
Yeah.
as they're doing a good job for you. Don't hop around.
And don't discount private money. I mean, look for people that have self-directed IRAs
Yep.
that are interested in lending money.
Yeah.
There's
Oh.
a lot of money out there.
And one other way, and I think this is just to me, it's a fee, but maybe it's not to other people. I see a lot of people coming to hard money like, oh, I don't want to pay that rate. I want to pay that point or those points. I'll just get someone to go in the deal with me. And now you're giving up equity.
Yeah.
And what I can say to that is equity always costs you more than debt.
Yeah.
Take the debt, pay the whatever rate it is, because it will be far less than whatever equity that you're giving
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
So that's, just if I could give people any advice, take debt, use leverage, don't give up equity.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
David, I'm not quite. Do I need the LLC?
Yes.
If you're borrowing hard money, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lending, no.
If you're borrowing conventional loans, no. You're only going to be able to put it in your first name. But if you're doing hard money, yes, they're going to be considered a commercial loan. So you do have to have a legal entity. It doesn't necessarily have to be an LLC, but it has to be a legal entity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a proprietorship,
Trust.
It could be a trust. It can be a corporation.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. And I did see that Brian put his info in there. So thank you so much. This has been the Passive Wealth Show. Thank you very much for joining us. We have our show coming up. It's going to feature Fernando Angelucci, a friend of ours.
I just like saying his name.
He does. He sounds
Fernando
so.
Angelucci.
Yeah.
He's in the self-storage space, and
It's like traveling to
this
another
is
country,
part
just
one
saying
of
his name.
2 shows that we're going to do with him going forward.
Does he know?
I'm pretty sure he does. We are Carolina Capital Management. We are a lender for real estate investors in the Southeast. If you're a borrower, go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the borrower tab. Click on the apply now tab. If you're an investor looking for passive returns, click on the accredited investor tab. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Am I done?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
You did great, Bill.
Okay. Oh, and don't forget to use our
QuestCon.
code there for QuestCon coming up April 17th and 18th. It's all going to be about lending this
Yes.
time.
Yes.
They do a great job over there at Quest. As a matter of fact, we're going to have
Haley.
Haley Gant of Quest on a upcoming show as well. All right. You guys have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.